Hey everybody, and welcome back to Uncle Pookie's Barbecue. I'm Uncle Pookie, and this is episode 3. Again, we're sticking with the theme of easy everyday grilling, smoking, barbecue, and so I don't know of an easier recipe that I have than the pork tenderloins. I go to my local grocery store, and they sell them in a pack of 2 normally. About 2 to 3 pounds is the package weight. And I can catch them on sale for like $2.99 a pound. So under $10, you can get a dinner that will feed all 3 of us. My little one doesn't dig barbecue yet. So anyway, between me and my wife and my oldest, we can dine very well on less than $10 of pork tenderloin. It's kind of a blank canvas. So it's great if you want traditional barbecue flavors on it, or if you want to experiment and go with some Parmesan, some garlic, some Italian seasoning. There's just anything in the world you could do. The pork tenderloin, it's great by itself, but it picks up flavors great as well. So as you can see, I'm kind of filming out of whack here. I've got the grill going. And again, I'm going simple. We're going to go on the PK, which a lot of people know about. They've been remade, I guess. The old casts have been redone, and they've been popular on the steak trail for years now. I've got 3, 2 here, and 1 over yonder that have been in the family since the 60s. So, but again, this is an easy, everyday recipe. You could do it on any kind of grill. We're not going to slow smoke these. We're going to throw them up over a hot grill. I've got the Jealous Devil charcoal. It's rolling and ready to go. I'm going to use my grill grates just because, not that I really want to put sear marks on these tenderloins, but because they distribute the heat very evenly. You don't get hot and cold spots when you use these grill grate brand cooking grates. So they do a great job, especially something like this. So stay tuned. We're going to step back in the kitchen and trim up the tenderloins. It's a very simple trim. Just got to get the if there's any silver skin on the tenderloins, got to get that cut off. But I'll explain all that later. So appreciate y'all tuning in. If you will, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with friends and family. We're trying to get the subscription rate up, obviously, but that way, if you do subscribe, it's not having you do anything special. All it's doing is notifying you when I do post the new videos. So I appreciate all of y'all that have subscribed, and looking forward to completing this series and moving on to season 2 of the series to get to some more intermediate recipes here shortly. But we're going to get this tenderloin cooked up and ready to go, so stay tuned. Alright guys, let's get started. This is the pork tenderloin, and you can find them at any of your local grocery stores. It's not the full pork loin. This is the tenderloin. This is the smaller. Actually, in this pack, and it should come this way, yep, it's normally 2 pieces. These are great. My family loves them. I love them. Because they're quick cook, they're easy cook, but they are super tasty. And they're just pretty much a blank palette. I mean, you could cook them, you can season them up any way you want to. You can slow cook these, but I like to just get the grill hot and medium-high heat and almost sear them off. It's not like a steak or anything, but they're just so simple to cook. They're a small, lean piece of meat that it's not going to take a long time to get them to temp. So all I'm going to do here with this, there's not a lot of trimming, except sometimes you get a lot of this skin, this silver skin on them, and some of that, if it's fat, it'll cook off, but then you get a big band of it, like right here, that won't go away, and it's just going to be a chewy event, kind of like when you get beef jerky sometimes, and you get that little strand in there that just doesn't want to chew down and go away. So what I do is I'll go through and I'll take one of these sharp knives. Thank you again, Mad Cow Cutlery, for these. You can get right underneath that silver skin most times, And even if you don't get it all in one pass, you can get a good portion of it. And as you're pulling up, like I said, now this is fat over the top of it, so I'm going to go at it again here. But you'll see, I mean, it's pretty clear that once you've gotten under the fat of it, and we want to leave as much fat on these tenderloins as we can keep. But this, again, this silver skin's not going to be fun. It's not edible. It's just a nuisance. So we're going to clean all that off as best we can on both of these strips here. You can get work your knife right underneath it, and then pull it up, and then cut it. Pull it up as you're cutting it in the other direction, and make it just as clean. You don't want to get rid of much of that meat. You want to save as much of that meat as possible. But and you're going to have a little flap of skin. Sometimes, if you've got a lot of scrap pork from other meat trimmings that you want to save for sausage or something like that, then you might want to be a little more heavy on the trim. Clean it up, get some of these little end pieces cut down like this right here. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that off and save that. Again, you can save that. It makes great bacon. Not bacon, but sausage. It makes great sausage trimmings. But you definitely don't want to save that silver skin. If you cut that off, just go ahead and get rid of it completely. So I'm going to save these little scrap pieces. Again, very tip end, and then anything loose that's hanging off of there, it's good to go ahead and trim it down. The biggest reason you want it as uniform as you can get it, because you don't want the thin end or the light end to get overdone while you're waiting for the thicker end to get done. So as even and consistent as you can make it. But again, this is cooking for home, so it's not critical what you're doing here. Biggest thing for me, nobody in my family wants to chew on this silver skin, this almost tendon-like material. So that's the biggest thing that I'm trimming out of here, is any of this tough silver skin material. Just go ahead and work it out, get it out of there. And then any other the scrap pieces that if you're going to be able to make sausage with them, that's great. But those end pieces like that, they're certainly not going to hurt to go ahead and leave them on and cook them. Unless you're just OCD like me. You just don't like little scrap pieces hanging on like that. So, and again, it's not going to be vital if you do get a little bit of this meat cut off as you're trying to get down that silver skin. It's not going to hurt anything. You're not missing out on a lot, but you just don't want to waste anything if you can help it. So biggest thing is getting rid of the silver skin, getting it out of there. So it's going to be, I've said it before in other videos, the more work you do on this end, the less end you got to do to eat it later on. And that's my biggest thing when I'm trimming meat up. I look at it as, what can I get rid of right now so that I don't have to mess with it when I'm hungry and tired of cooking and ready to eat. I don't want to have to mess with all this stuff. Sometimes this little band of silver skin will go all the way through, so it can be a little bit cumbersome to try to catch it, get it all the way out. But again, the more you do now, it'll pay dividends here in about an hour or so when it's time to eat, and I don't have to mess with this stuff. So there we go. I think that's pretty much got it here. A little bit of scrap is hanging off there. Okay. Nothing else there. Now again, if you get a piece of fat on this tenderloin, you want to leave it, because it is a super lean piece of meat. It's very, very good, but it is so lean that any fat left inside of here, if you get anything on the outside or anything, leave it on there. That's just going to do nothing but enhance the flavors. Again, that's not really silver skin here. This is just kind of muscle tissue, connective tissues. And I'd just rather go ahead and cut it loose if I can. So we'll go ahead and get rid of it here. Everything else looks really good. Again, when OCD's kicking in. But some of this stuff here, again, that's fat and that's meat, so that's going to go great in the sausage grind. And again, we're just going. I'm going a little overboard on the trimming here, just because I do. But there we go. You've got 2 strips. This was actually about 2 1/3 pounds of meat here. Nothing hardly at all that I'm tripping off that's going to be saved for later. But here comes the fun part. This is where, like I said before, kind of have a blank palette, or a clean palette of work you can do here. I'm wanting to use barbecue flavors this time. So I'm going to use my Uncle Pookie's barbecue rub, old shaker, and then I'm good to go. But this is one of these where you can really get creative. This is just a strip of clean, lean pork. So I've done them before with where I've mixed Parmesan cheese with my garlic butter seasoning to make like a garlic Parmesan crust on the outside. I've done these very plain with just the salt and pepper seasoning I have, so that you do get more of a pork seasoning. It just depends on what you're looking for, what flavors you're wanting. What I'm going to do when these are grilled up, I'm going to put a little bit of sauce on them. Just like I said, I'm looking for that barbecue flavor, and I'm going to slice these into medallions when they're done, and then put them on the plate with our sides. So again, it's whatever flavors you're looking for is what's going to be good here. Like I said, I'm looking for this barbecue seasoning, so that's what I'm going to do here, is just coat them. I'm going to coat them heavy because I do want, it's going to be a quick cook, and with the sugars in here, I want to create kind of a crust on these pork tenderloins. So I'm going to put this on pretty good and heavy and let it sweat in a little bit. And then we're going to put them over a medium-high heat and grill them up. We're looking to hit about 140, 145 internal temperature. Don't want them to get too hot. I don't want them to dry out completely, but we're just going to go to cook them till they're done. It's the easiest thing to do. And this is just a super, super easy, quick recipe. So this is all going to be really good. Again, I'm not going to go real light on these. I want to create a bark cooking these, so I'm going to coat them up heavy, and we're going to get the grill started here in just a minute. But I think we've made a good coat all the way around. Again, this is home. I'm not concerned about using mustard or any oils for a binder. This is going to sit on the plate here, and I'm going to let these seasonings do their thing to work themselves in. This just came out of the refrigerator, so they're a little cold. I want them to come up to closer to room temperature, but this is a great time. I'm going to go ahead and get the fire started on the grill. I'm going to put up my little scrap meat here, and put it in my sausage bag in the freezer, and we're going to get the grill going, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, you can see these have sweated in nicely. They're nice and wet on the outside. That seasoning is soaking in well. So again, the solo cameraman here. We'll set everything up. We are going to put these pork loins right across the hot section. Stretch them out. Close them down. And come right back. We're going to give them about 10 minutes, and then we're going to flip them around, rotate them a little bit so they get even cooking on all sides, and we'll be back shortly. All right, it's time to flip them. You can see they're all ready. And rookie mistake number 1, I did not spray the grill grates. Oh yeah, get a little burn on there, which is all right. Means they're going to beat the temp quick. Should have sprayed the grill grates. Alright, but this is going to be the bottom anyway. So we're going to put them on. I'm going to set the timer now for 5 minutes because I want to do one more little thing. Stay tuned. Alright, it's been 5 more minutes. And what I'm going to do is take these off. I'm going to put one down here on one cool end, one down here on the other, so that we're not getting all this direct heat. And I'm going to pour some Cosmos Cherry Apple Habanero Rib Glaze. This is really good stuff, and I'm not wanting this to be just strictly barbecue, but putting a little light coat of this all the way down the center. Let it do its thing. Put a nice little sweet heat on these tenderloins. And I'm just going to let gravity do its thing. We want just a little bit more on these ends here. So just going, I'm going to coat them again, cover them up, give them another couple minutes, and they'll be ready. This is a quick cook. It has been just a couple of minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and flip these one more time and get some glaze on the bottom side. They are all ready to tempt. This Jealous Devil is hot stuff, and it has cooked it up good. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little light glaze on this bottom side here. Just about out of my bottle, which is good timing. What we're going to do is go get the foil and a cutting board, throw these tenderloins in, wrap them up, and let them rest. Stay tuned. Alright, it's been a couple of minutes for this last bit of glaze. We're going to throw them in this foil here. And what we're going to do is wrap them up. I can get you some footage here. They look good. I like a little bit of char. Now, I am going to be honest, they temped out about 160, so they're a little overcooked. But what we're going to do is wrap these up tight in this foil and let them just rest. Whatever juices are try to come out, we want them to kind of situate back in the meat. So we're going to let these rest for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll get to slicing. Stay tuned. What we did is, when we sealed this up, we left a little vent in the middle of the foil so that it didn't trap all that heat in to continue cooking. It was able to release some of the heat, but allow it to sit and just kind of sit in its own juices as it was cooling down a little bit and resting. As you can see, it is super tender, and I like cutting these pork tenderloins into little medallions like this. You can cut them as thin or as thick as you like, but I like these small bite-sized pieces. That is phenomenal. That rib glaze adds a little bit of sweet, but it's not really like a barbecue sauce sweet. And then after a second or two, you can kind of start to feel a little bit of heat. It's not hot. It's not like hot wing hot or anything crazy. We're talking about a little bit of a after heat tingle on this meat. So it's really, really good. And again, this is real life bare bones backyard barbecue. We did overcook a little bit. I wanted to pull it about 140 to 145. It did hit an internal temperature of 160. I'm going to show you that, but we were in kind of a hurry. I didn't want this to keep on cooking, and that's why we went ahead with that that glaze. But it's still juicy. You can see juice on the cutting board. It's super tender. I mean, this is really, really good. I'm going to make the family mad. I'm going to sit here and eat all of it before we get done filming. But to recap, took a package of pork tenderloins, not the full pork loin, but the tenderloins. Come 2 in a pack. We just trimmed the silver skin off, just so you could see in the end result. The cleaner the trim on the early on the onset here, the getting rid of that silver skin, left no chewy pieces or anything like that. We seasoned it up after we trimmed it up, put a heavy dose of my barbecue seasoning on, and then, sorry, I've still got some in my mouth here. We've got the Jealous Devil charcoal, rolling high, finished it up, got it going, got it in the grill, and I wanted to go with a medium hot heat. We did go pretty hot. The Jealous Devil is still, it's a good premium charcoal, and it gets very hot. When it says hotter than hell, there's truth in advertising there. Grill it on one side for about 10 minutes. In retrospect, I really should have gone 5, and then flipped it over and did another 5 minutes. And then I'd had a little more time for this glaze to set when I put it on. But we cooked it 10 minutes on one side, flipped it over, found out it was a little hotter than I expected, so we backed that down to 5 minutes on the other side, and then put the rib glaze over one side and then flipped it back over to the other side. So again, that rib glaze adds a nice sweetness to it, but it's not overly sweet. It's not like a sweet barbecue sauce on there. Finished product, you can see we had a total cook time of under 20 minutes, and then we've had it sitting in the foil resting on the cutting board for another 10 minutes. So it's a quick cook, a super easy cook. Throw it on the grill. We don't need special equipment or heavy duty smokers or anything like that. Grilled it off, took it, brought it in, let it rest, sliced it up. We're ready to eat dinner. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, this is a backyard video, very simple, and you're going to see my mistakes when they get made. Appreciate y'all joining. Appreciate y'all viewing. If you will, like, share, and subscribe to the videos to the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and we'll see you next time.